Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
AEW Dynamite aired on a Friday night this week instead of its usual Wednesday slot, and welcome back to the largest audience they've had since the start of the pandemic. The show was generally well received, with people remarking on the impact of a full crowd and the talking points of the show. This good-natured feeling didn't last, however, as after the show, it was revealed that one of AEW's Spanish commentators, Willy Urbina, had made some extremely ill-advised comments during the broadcast. AEW presented Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida with a new title belt, as Shida was celebrating having passed 1 year as champion. However, it was pointed out by Miguel Uceda on Twitter that the Spanish commentary team started mocking Shida's Japanese accent during the break before the segment. Uceda attached a video with the commentary, tagging Tony Khan and saying how this is completely unacceptable. In case you need to be told this in 2021, yes, this is completely unacceptable. At the time of this writing, AEW has not made a public comment on the incident, but the reaction on Twitter has been one of understandable outrage. But it's fine, guys, remember, Cody solved racism with his promo. As WWE prepares to welcome its own fans back to their shows this summer, it seems they want to make this year's SummerSlam especially important with the help of a guest host. Fightful Select has reported that WWE is hoping to bring in rapper Cardi B to be the host of the show. Cardi B had been named dropped during the Raw Legends Night special earlier this year during a backstage segment with Angel Garza, when Tori Wilson told him that Cardi B was among the celebrities she'd invited to the show. This was obviously not true, but it did prompt a response from Cardi B on Twitter. The rapper joked that this was not how her WWE debut was supposed to go, and revealed that she'd been a fan of WWE during the 2000s, reminiscing about such stars as Batista, John Cena, and former Quizlemania champion Melina. Fightful's report does state that they had not been told if this was a done deal. However, since then, Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast has tweeted that he can confirm that Cardi B will host SummerSlam. Zarian has been behind a number of major reports as of late, including NXT's move to Tuesday nights. And speaking of WAPs, that being wrestlers awaiting passports, of course. Why? What else does it stand for? There's been more details surrounding the talks between WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it seems there might be a focus on one WAP in particular, a wrestler awaiting a passport, remember. It had been reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling were in talks to bust down a massive forbidden door and work together going forward. Early reports stated that it was unclear how far along these talks were, but now a new report has provided more context. PW Insider has reported that sources from both WWE and New Japan have told them that these talks have been going on for several months, but the main crux of the talks has been the potential of Daniel Bryan doing matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling. The report also notes that it remains to be seen whether or not anything will come from these talks, but that this is not a case of New Japan immediately making a deal, considering their current relationship with AEW. But now it's time for a review of last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. Just kidding. Why would I review that Mark show for Marks? Let's review last night's episode of SmackDown in about 5 minutes. The show began with a brilliant cold open promo featuring the Usos and Roman Reigns ahead of the Usos' first match back together in over a year. Jimmy is fired up, but Roman asks him what his endgame is, to which Jimmy says it's to win the tag belts and hold them alongside Roman's Universal title. Roman wishes them good luck, but after Jimmy leaves, he tells Jay, because they're gonna need it. Jay hesitates, but tells Roman that he might be with Jimmy tonight, but he knows he's with him. Roman simply says that he should tell Jimmy that. Oof, so much drama. This led straight into the Usos versus the Street Profits. Well, not before an extended promo segment, of course. The Street Profits promo was pretty decent, but then the Usos came out and I got legitimately pumped up seeing them together again. And they cut a great promo together, featuring a "Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary" in there as well. It was great. This was a great back and forth match, which was given plenty of time to shine. After some close near falls on both sides, it looked like the Profits were closing in on the win. But as Ford went for the frog splash on Jimmy, Jay saved him and dragged him out of the way, causing Ford to crash and burn, letting Jimmy hit a superkick on Ford for the win. This was exactly what I wanted from this match. The Usos back and winning strong, with just the slightest hint of dissension underneath, with Jay needing to save Jimmy. Natalya and Tamina faced the Riot Squad next, with Natalya and Tamina getting their entrance before the ad break, and the Riot Squad not getting anything at all, as the match started in the ad break as well. After the match had gone on for about 30 seconds to a minute, I noticed that Tamina wasn't on the apron while Natalya was legal, prompting me to ask, out loud, wait, where's Tamina? The commentary team then seemed to hear me as Michael Cole scrambled to say, Tamina, not on the apron. She was actually attacked outside the ring before the match even started. What? One of the most absolutely basic facets of storytelling is show, don't tell. Even showing a replay would have been fine, but no, nothing. They just said, oh yeah, she got attacked. And then not long after, she was back on the apron absolutely fine. How are you supposed to get invested in something you're just told happens instead of you seeing for yourself? The match was basically nothing, but it seems like they're trying to tell the story that Tamina is the carry of the tag team, as Natalya got beaten up on the outside by Liv Morgan, but meanwhile, Tamina beat up Ruby Riott and hit her with a splash for the win. Any other women's tag teams left for them to fight, or will we be seeing this match again next week? Backstage, the Usos say they want a tag team title match against whoever the champions are next week, which Adam Pearce grants, who's definitely not the general manager still. Jimmy gets pumped up and excited, but the pain is etched all over Jay's face as he knows Roman will not be happy about this. Ooh, so much drama. Bianca Belair versus Carmella came next, which was fine enough. Bayley joined commentary for this match, and my two biggest gripes with the match itself is 1, stop doing the merry-go-round, it's the worst move in wrestling. And 2, when Bianca Belair hit the KOD, Michael Cole just goes, ooh, Carmella faceplant. Come on, Cole. Seth Rollins came out next in a frankly ridiculous suit and says it's his birthday. I'm very glad though, he didn't come out in his birthday suit. He says he's here to fight and calls out Cesaro, but of course he's not here to fight, just look at that suit. He plays a clip of Cesaro getting stretchered out from last week and then plays some audio of Cesaro in pain at the hospital, which was a bit weird, I'll be honest. But then somehow he manages to turn the promo around by putting on the serious voice and saying that part of the blame lies with Cesaro and he definitely deserved everything that came to him, but he's a man of integrity and he knows that a part of the blame also lies with you people. All in all, this was a great promo, and I'm glad Cesaro wasn't here this week and actually sold a supposedly serious injury. Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews was next, and the commentary team really had to say the paraphrase line of, in order for Owens to have another chance at the Intercontinental title, he needs to knock off the champ. How and why is that ever a thing? The match went all of 2 minutes, with Owens hitting all of his big moves, including the stunner, but of course when he went for the pin, Commander Aziz instead hit the Nigerian nail onto Owens for the DQ. And if you missed him hitting the Nigerian nail, don't worry, the cameras then showed Owens coughing and spluttering and selling the nail for 1.5 minutes. That is a long time. It may not sound like much, but time it. Seriously, sit there and just imagine you're looking at one continuous shot of Owens coughing for 1.5 minutes. It's a long time. Roman Reigns is back once again backstage with Jey Uso, and this was a wonderful promo where he highlighted to Jey that when he goes along with what Roman says, he main events the show, but as soon as he's back with his brother, he's relegated to the opening match. Roman says he's always wanted what's best for Jey, and he doesn't want him to go back to a place where people look at him and think, which one are you? Which was a brilliant callback to their feud last year. Jey says that he hadn't thought about it like that, and Roman says he should tell Jimmy, because Jimmy isn't thinking like that either. Ooh, so much drama! Shinsuke Nakamura faced Chad Gable next, which went a few minutes. Isn't it weird to think that in an alternate timeline somewhere, WWE champion Shinsuke Nakamura is facing plucky underdog Chad Gable for the title? Ah well. Rick Boogs, of course, played Shinsuke to the ring, and during the course of the match, Corbin comes out and takes his crown back, which really, he should, considering it's his. After Shinsuke wins, Boogs hits Corbin in the back of the head, making him drop the crown, so Shinsuke takes it again. I'm starting to feel bad for Corbin, guys. He just wants his crown back, and it is his. We cut backstage to Kevin Owens, who's still coughing and spluttering and selling the Nigerian nail. And then it was time for the main event, the Mysterios versus the Dirty Dogs for the Tag Team Championships. Earlier in the night, the Dirty Dogs cut a promo and said they'll become champions. The Mysterios also cut a promo where they said they'll retain. They were certainly promos. But in the opposite storyline to what happened at WrestleLashback Mania, Rey Mysterio was attacked backstage before the match, not Dominic. So of course, Dominic went it alone and was doing pretty well for himself, nearly hitting the 619 a couple times. Rey Mysterio eventually came out, and the distraction allowed Dominic to roll up Ziggler. Was it Ziggler? Rude? Which one was it? Oh, who cares? And they retained. This would have been a great story if this was the one they actually told first. Why didn't they do this at Backlash? It's a much better story than Rey going it alone. He's Rey Mysterio. The Usos came out immediately after and stared down the Mysterios as we're getting that match next week. Roman Reigns is watching backstage and he looks very, very angry about it. Ooh, so much drama. So that was the show. Let me know what you thought in the comments below and by voting on our poll on a poll match on our community tab, where 70% of you voted for Roman is going to do something horrible next week. And I agree. Yes, he is. And it's going to be awful and wonderful. This show overall was decent. The opener was really good, but that was really the only standout match on the show. Stories were mildly progressed outside of the Roman stuff, of course, but broadly speaking, most of the feuds are in pretty much exactly the same place as they were before the show started. This gets a 3 out of 5, smack bang in the middle.
It's as simple as this. Just when they think they've got the answers, I change the what culture. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, but people get overexcited about stuff coming back, regardless of the personal feelings involved or whether that thing still really has a place there. Ding! Hello, I'm Adam, hailing from Parts Unknown, and welcome to how Adam would book the return to WWE of CM Punk